Jets GM Mike Maccagnan, your first draft here as the general manager of the New York Jets is now complete. Let's talk about your fourth round pick, Bryce Petty. You moved up one slot in order to get him. What went through that decision and what did you like about Bryce?
Well, first about Bryce, from an ability standpoint, in terms of his physical ability, his ability to throw the ball, his athletic ability, his intangibles from a character standpoint, from an intellect standpoint, we thought he had a lot of ability and potential to be a very good quarterback in this league. We do know he's coming from a system that isn't quite like an NFL system, so we were excited about the, kind of his potential. We understand it may take him some time to achieve that potential, but we're excited about it. And then in the draft, as we sort of worked through the beginning of the second day, we sort of put out some feelers and sense that other teams were going to try to move up and draft him ahead of us. Other teams probably looked at us thinking we have the needed quarterback. So we moved up in the draft one spot, gave up the 7th round draft pick to ensure that we landed the player as opposed to a team jumping in front of us. And by just having the team move back one spot to our spot, it only cost us a 7th round draft pick, which we thought was worth the potential investment as opposed to missing out on the player to a team trying to come up from behind us in the draft.
What can you tell us about Jarvis Harrison and then Deion Simon as well?
Yeah, Jarvis is a guy that we were very excited about. He has a lot of physical ability and potential to be we feel, a very good player in this league. He kind of slid in the draft a little bit, and we were kind of excited where we got the chance to take him. Deion was another player that we had liked quite a bit. He had played well in college. Now, Deion is a very big, like 6'4.5", 320-pound, very big athletic defensive tackle for them, and will play nose tackle for us. And again, another player we felt had the ability to potentially be a very good backup, or potentially even down the road starting caliber player. To get in the 7th round was, in our mind, a very good investment point for a player of his potential and ability.
And then finally, Mike, when I look at this 2015 draft, I'm looking at the trades and what you got in return, and I say Brandon Marshall is part of this draft class. And then here, you also got Posey, and then lastly, Zach Stacy today. And you like just adding another guy to your stable of running backs right now, don't you?
Yeah, and so what happened, obviously, we added Posey yesterday, and it was a player we thought had good potential to potentially be a competitive player in our wide receiver core. And then today, we kind of aware when St. Louis took Gurley the other day that they had a wealth of running backs. Obviously, Zach has been, in our minds, a good NFL running back. He's rushed for almost 1,000 yards 2 years ago and a little less productive this last year. But we thought for a 7th round investment, for what we potentially could get in the draft, here's a player that has production in the NFL who, in our minds, is going to come into our environment, our running back situation, and make it much more competitive. And that's kind of been our whole goal for the offseason, is just trying to bring as many good players in the organization as possible and make every position as competitive as possible, which in turn will make us a more competitive team on the field every Sunday.